All right. So the mic's on. All right, cool. Um, let's just like a discussion on how to quit smoking. The most effective way to quit smoking. And I'm a former smoker. I smoke cigarettes. How to quit smoking cigarettes? This isn't for cigars or pipes or any of that. It's for cigarettes. Like stop smoking cigarettes? And for me, there's three things. There's three things that you need. One of them is number one is drugs. Some type of drug to help. You can quit cold turkey if you wanted to, but it's gonna be a bigger struggle. Might as well use some things that are gonna help. Number two is determination. You're gonna need determination. You're gonna have to have the strong will to do this. You're gonna want to do this, and there's gonna be absolutely nothing, no type of anything, no people, no excuses, no nothing that's gonna stop you from achieving your goal. And number three is time. And with the passage of time, the goal of quitting smoking will be easier. And so anyway, like I actually did this twice. It's been over a decade, but I've done this twice, and so I know a thing or two about how to quit smoking cigarettes. Um, so I used the first time I used Wellbutrin or Zyban, and I used and I was actually taking that 100, I think I said 150 milligrams a day, the XL version, and I did that. I was just on that drug indefinitely for whatever reason, and like so it kind of worked well for like reducing cravings like in between cigarettes. It kind of but I mean it possibly made nicotine a little bit less pleasurable, but it definitely decreased the withdrawal symptoms and helped significantly. I would say before nicotine is such an addictive drug that I didn't even think I could quit. I didn't think I was even possible to quit smoking. But then I tried. I was on Zyban and Wellbutrin 150 milligram XL, and then it was like, okay, well maybe this is possible. Maybe I can quit, and then so I tried that, and then I was using nicotine patches, and I was using nicotine gum as well, and I was using I think I used like Equate gum or like the nicotine patches from Walmart, and I know when doing both at the same time, you use either cigarettes or you try not to use, like you don't want to be smoking like doped up on nicotine if you do both, so you do one or the other, and like anyway like eventually first time I was able to quit, and it took a while, and like but I also used one thing I was like and I don't know if and I don't remember the brand that I used. I don't remember, like there was a some type of like vaping cigarette. It was like a it was e-cigarette, e-cig. It was an e-cig, and I don't remember which brand it was. It was like, and I don't know if they're still in business or not. And like this was more than a decade ago, so I really don't know if they still got these or not. I'd probably recognize the brand if I saw the brand. Maybe they're out of business because I stopped smoking them. Well, yeah, I'm just not seeing the brand, at least on this web. Maybe it was this one. Maybe the Vibe. Use Vibe. I don't know. It had like a bat. Like you'd recharge the thing, and then it was like, yeah. I mean, I didn't use. I wasn't on those for very long, but they're not like like I didn't get hooked on the vaping in the same manner that I got hooked on on cigarettes, and like it wasn't nearly as strong of a an addiction. Um, but yeah, so it took like, I mean, there's a lot of determination involved. You know, um, Determination is the quality of being committed to achieving a goal, even when faced with challenges or obstacles. It involves perseverance and a strong will to succeed. So you just gotta not give up. Like not like there. And what makes it difficult is that there's a significant amount of time from your last cigarette to the to like you're gonna have like physical cravings for nicotine for like maybe a few days, a week. Like you're gonna be craving that drug, and that's kind of short term. But the most difficult part of that, the most difficult is the long term, which is kind of like a psychological addiction. Like your brain gets so used to smoking cigarettes that like you continue to feel the need to smoke a cigarette for a significant amount of time after even the physical addiction is over. Like like your brain just makes connections, so you have to rewrite the connections in your brain. You have to like when you're like when your brain thinks you're gonna get a cigarette, even if it's just psychological addiction, you have to rewrite those connections in your brain. You got to do something different. You got to do a different activity, go for a walk, go for a try maybe get into exercise more, maybe do e-cig for a while, maybe there's all kinds of different things that you can try to get yourself to stop smoking actual cigarettes. My recollection was the first time I quit. I was well over a decade ago. I basically, I would say like the first day going without a cigarette was the hardest by far, and then the next day was easier, and then the next day was the first day is the hardest, the first week is the hardest, the first month is the hardest, and then it gradually gets easier after that. But it takes a while because your brain is like your brain is just constantly telling you that. I mean, you have to rewrite the memories, rewrite the addiction memories in your brain to tell you that you don't have to smoke again, and it takes time. I say like the first month was easier than the second month, and then the third month was easier than the second month, and it just gets progressively easier. I'd say after a good 2 or 3 months, you realize that you can do that. You can accomplish this goal, but it takes a long time. But you can do it, but you just have to keep going with it. You can't just keep I mean you can. I think I cheated once or twice on the cigarette. Like I would smoke a cigarette, and I don't think I was like perfect, but I did. I ended up like there were a few times when I ended up smoking a cigarette when I was like determined not to do that, and then eventually. So I was kind of like start over, but not completely start over, but like eventually I was able to get to where I didn't, I would go months and months without smoking a cigarette, and then like I said, after you get to about the 2 or 3 month mark, then you start to gain a lot of confidence. You're like I still remember having some cravings for a good 6 months, 6 months to a year, but it was very like increasing less frequency of the cravings, and so it just takes time, and like you're rewriting your addiction memories, and you're creating positive new memories to do something different, and so that was the first time. Second, then for some reason I started up again about a year later, and then I smoked for another year, and that was like closer to a decade ago, and then the second time I didn't use Zybrand. Second time I used Varenicline, which used to be Chantix. And I think this one still. I hope this was still. And this one that like, it used to be called Chance but and I took that one for like maybe a week before I stopped smoking to maybe a week after. I only took that one maybe 2 weeks, and I don't think I took that one for more than 2 or 3 weeks, man. And I don't think I did, like how I was supposed to take that medicine. But what I did worked, and like, and how that one worked was like I would take that medicine, and then you try to, and then you're smoking your last week, you smoke the cigarettes, but the cigarettes don't taste good. Like they're not addictive anymore. It's like they don't taste good anymore. Like they're not, like you're not getting your hit. You're not getting your addiction, and you're not getting that dopamine rush from that when you take the Chantix or the Renicillin. And so after a good week of that, if I like then I can I was able to stop smoking cigarettes. I continued taking that medicine for a little while longer. I didn't like that. I had more side effects on that one compared to Zyban, and so I didn't take that one indefinitely. It was like I didn't feel good on that one. So it was kind of a short 2 or 3 week thing, and then but it did help. I mean, it was worth the buy. And then again, I used nicotine patches, or nicotine gum, and then then again you got the determination again, and you got the time. I don't know if it's like that for everybody. With first day is the most difficult, first week is the most difficult, first month is the most difficult, first year. I mean, once you get to a year, you're doing really well. But you get. I would say once you get to the into about 2 or 3 months, I mean there's even going to be a time when you don't think you're ever gonna stop having cravings. Like you'll go like 3 months in, 4 months in, 5 months in, 6 months in, and you're still having these like urges to smoke because your brain is like, I mean, it's such a strong drug that you're I mean, it's so addictive that you have these psychological feelings like you need to smoke. Even after a few months, and I mean they decrease over time, and so to me, I mean, it's a good 6 months, I'd say, and 3 months, and then 6, but once you get to a year, like then you don't feel like you have to smoke, at this point it's been several years, so I've been smoking a cigarette many years, but I think it was something worth it, some worth doing that to try to, but it took a lot of determination. Like it was like probably one of the more challenging things I've done in my life. I wouldn't say it's the most challenging thing, but I would say one of the most challenging things I've done in my life. And just kind of one of these things where it just takes a lot of determination. Like you gotta be like, I'm gonna do this. I don't care what people are smoking around me, people are drinking around me, and I'm used to smoking and drinking in these situations. You got to be like, I'm not, or you got coworkers that smoke cigarettes, and that brings up some urges to smoke cigarettes. You go have a social 7-10 minutes outside, but you got to be incredibly determined. And you got to be, you got to just keep going with your plan. Your plan's gonna quit smoking because it's gonna improve your health. It's gonna improve your breathing. It's gonna improve your quality of life. It'll improve your lifespan. And I don't regret quitting smoking at all. I think. It improves your health because you start focusing on other ways to increase your health as well, and so it's kind of like you go from not really caring as much to trying to figure out ways to care more about your health, and then obviously in the winter months I get sick less. I don't I think it's just kind of a good thing all around. And so, anyway, that's my 2 cents. Good luck.